Hello! Today I'm going to try to make a desk for my work office. And I'm going to try to make it out of pine and make it relatively easily. Hopefully it can be done pretty much today. I watched a bunch of YouTube movies on how to make a rustic kind of do-it-yourself desk, and so now I think I'm prepared to do it. We'll see. I went to Lowe's, bought these parts. So what I've got is for the legs, a bunch of pipes. So I use 3/4 inch pipe. I have a 60-inch long piece, 4 30 inches, and I asked them to cut 1 inch off each one just to make the height of the desk what I want. These will be the legs, and then 2 24-inch. So these are all 3/4 inch pipe. And then I have these little coupler pieces, fittings. These guys here are like T's, and everything uses an Allen wrench to attach it to the pipes. And then I've got 4 for the of these pieces here for the bottom feet, and then 4 for the top to attach the legs to the table. So this will be the overall support for the table. And then I'm going to make it out of wood. So I've got some pre-stain conditioner, 2 different colors of wood finish stain, a polycrylic finish, and then I got rustoleum flat oil-based paint to paint over the pipes to make everything look black. It would have been nice if everything was already black, but not everything is, so I'll paint it black. And then I got some brushes for the stain. Let's go over and look and see what the wood is. So I bought, I want the table to be 60 inches long and about 30 inches deep. So I bought 4 2x8 by 8 foot long boards, and I'm going to cut off about 2 feet on each board to make them 6 feet long. And then I'm going to attach them using pocket hole screws and some glue. And so first thing I'm going to do then is to cut these boards so that they're 72 inches long, 6 feet long. Oh, some other parts that I didn't mention that I had gotten. To attach the boards together, I'm using this pocket hole jig here. It's by Kreg, and it comes with, or you can also get the screws for it. I'm using 2.5 inch long screws. So this whole kit right here is like 20 bucks, and the screws like $5. And then some rubber foot pads to go on the bottom of these guys. So it just sort of sticks on, and that way it won't scrape the floor up with the legs. And then I got a clamp as well to attach, to sort of hold the jig, the pocket hole jig on the board when you're drilling the holes through it. So those, I think that basically finishes it all. And so everything together, the wood was like $48, $12 a board. The pipes and all that was about $70. And then with the pipes, or the paint that is, and the brushes and everything, it all added up about $326. So the first table will be $326. If I make a second one, I won't need to buy the paint again, won't need to buy the jig and all that kind of stuff. Just the pipes and the wood, and probably use more screws. So I think it'll be considerably less than $300 for the second table. All right, first thing I'm going to do is cut off a little bit on the end of the board, and then measure 72 inches to make it 72 inches long. Just get rid of some of it so it's not such a rough end, a little smoother end. Okay, I've laid out the 4 boards in the order that I want them to be in. Just sort of looked at them to see where the knots were and what kind of which looked the most flat and which ones had the smallest gaps between them. And it's looking pretty good. So it's going to be, like I said, 72 inches long and about 30 inches wide. And next what I'm going to do is join them together with this pocket hole kit. So this is the jig here, and you can set up for the thickness of the board. I'm using 1.5 inch thick board, so you just set up the distance that the holes are going to be drilled from the edge to the 1.5, and then you clamp it down and drill. So that's what I'll be doing next. Oh, I almost forgot. Once you have the boards lined up the way you want, mark them and then flip the whole table over, all the boards over, because you're going to want to drill the holes through the bottom of the board, not the top. I almost caught myself when I started to mark where I was going to drill the holes. Okay, so now what I've marked the little places on the board about a foot apart where I'm going to put the pocket holes, and they start about 2 inches in from each end and then 1 foot. And then the next boards are going to be staggered about 6 inches, so there will be holes going from one direction in one board, and then the other board will come back in the other direction, so the screws will sort of pull the boards together. And then this shows how the clamp works. So this is the pocket hole jig, and it has like a sloped angle where the drill will go, and you just sort of lay it over top of where you want it, clamp it down, and then here's the drill. So it guides the drill in at an angle. Then that's the hole that it makes, and the drill bit or the screw will go right in there, and it'll come out about 1.5 inches. All right, and then I'm going to do that through all of the marks on the board, and be back once I have all the holes drilled. Okay, so I finished drilling all the pocket holes, and what you might be able to see is on this end I'm starting 2 inches in, going from the left to the right, and then 6 inches later go from the right to the left, and then left to right, and then keep alternating as I go down the length of the boards, ending with about 2 inches from the end, or the screws coming in from the right to the left. So this is the bottom of the table. So next what I'll do is I'll put a bead of glue down between all the boards and put the pocket screws in to pull the boards together. And I'll probably clamp the ends of the boards just to get the height right on the ends of the boards, and try to keep them about right. Once maybe I'll get the I'll clamp the ends, put screws in, and then so the boards are in position, and then maybe try to clamp the boards to get them about the right height if I can, and then screw them in. I might lay them on the floor just to keep the boards from warping, but I want to use the screws to pull the boards together, so I don't really want to clamp it. And I don't have bar clamps. If I had bar clamps, I'd probably just clamp the boards together. So next thing is gluing and screwing. All right, so I just have some standard wood glue. I'm going to put a bead of glue down onto the board. Like such. Lay it down like that. Line it up. On the ends. Okay, so now we'll use this pocket screw. See how this does. the idea. Then, they're pretty good. Now I'm just gonna finish doing all the screws down the length of the board. We'll see how that looks when I'm done, and then continue on with the other boards. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I actually put a little bit of stainable wood filler down in the cracks between the boards, realizing that the glue probably wouldn't hold the stain well, but the stainable wood filler will, and I'll fill in a little bit of cracks. Now I'm going to sand the whole thing smooth, sand the edges, especially the ends where I've cut, make them smooth so everything's just a little more smooth, and it'll then I'll start doing the staining. Okay, since it was such a nice day outside, I decided to do the sanding outside. So what I've done is I've got this sander here, and it's kind of cool because it's got Velcro attached pads on the bottom, so you just stick them on, and it has a little filter. And so I basically sanded it with 80 grit across everything, all on the sides and the top of the table. And you can see where the wood filler is now nice and smooth here. So I just sort of given it a smooth feel so it doesn't feel like there's any splinters anywhere. And kind of got in the little grooves with the sandpaper and the holes. And so that's basically what I've got. And I might go now with a finer grit, see how that does. And then put down the stain. That'll be the next step, and we'll see how it goes once we put the stain on. I think I'll do a dark stain and then a light stain on top of that, dark, and then sand it so that it just sort of stays in the crevices, and then put the light stain on top. I've come inside because it's starting to get dark outside, and I'm going to put this wood conditioner on the wood before I put the stain. It's supposed to be a pre-stain to, I guess, make the stain more evenly applied to the wood. Okay, I'm ready to start staining. I'm going to try this in a two-step process. First, I'm going to put a dark stain, this espresso, on there, and I'll stain the whole thing. Then I'm going to sand it lightly so that hopefully the dark will just stay in where the deeper grooves are. And then I'll put a lighter color stain over top of that, and then maybe do a very light sanding, and then polyurethane it. And we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. Okay, day 2 of working on the table. What I did was I brought the table back outside and did a light sanding on the espresso dark stain just to bring up some of the lights, and then I put a coat of the lighter stain provincial over top of that, and that's where we are now. And then I wiped it down with a rag just to get rid of any excess stain. So just waiting for this to dry, and then we'll put the polyurethane on it, and then we can start working on the legs. So, getting close. All right, so I've put the semigloss polyurethane on it. First coat. We'll let that dry and I'll sand it if I need to. See how rough it looks when it dries. Probably put a second coat on. Okay, so we finished painting the tabletop, and or should I say staining it and then doing the polyurethane. And now I'm taking these metal pipes. I've cleaned them off a little bit with the wire scrubby, and now I'm going to paint them black. So I'm just using a black oil-based paint. Okay, so I've painted the legs, and now I'm assembling them. Turn the table upside down, kind of loosely attach the legs, put them on the table, measured where the legs need to each go by taking the length of the legs and the length of the table, and taking the difference between each leg to the edge of its table. And now I'm screwing the legs into the table like that with these little 1/4 inch screws. There's the screws.